Hi, everybody. It's Crazy in for another week, and this is episode number 13. Um, I've got a lot of information I've got to put out, so I'm going to try to crunch it down as best as possible. If one of my friends on Discord thought it was funny, he went ahead and put my video up to 1.75, and it was pretty hilarious, so I put mine up to 2. Um, so, nonetheless, let's get started. Everybody knows that I've been working on this book right here. It's called Adventure on Computer Games with Python. Um, it's a good start, and like I said, this is basically the start of my videos. Because I'm trying to get back to roots. I'm trying to figure it out, want to get it, more knowledge of it. And so I'm up to page 318. 318. Okay, so I just got done doing all the code, and then I'm gonna start with what each line means. And there are some things in the book that they expect you to understand. You understand that importing and from Pygame local, so on and so forth. What certain things mean because you've done them before in the book, and it's kind of like commonplace. But the thing I want to bring up is a lot of people copy and paste. Copy and pasting is okay if you've done it for years and you know that you're not going to have a bad line of code in that copy. As a beginner, don't copy and paste. It's not good. It won't work for you. You may think, okay, I can just herp and copy and paste this in and everything will be good. It won't. To be honest with you, you're not really learning anything. And if you do learn from it and that's the way you go with it, that's okay. I understand. But for me, it doesn't work. I've tried copy and pasting before when I first started with this, and it was like, yeah, just copy and paste this. I'll copy and paste this. And as I go through it, I'm copying and pasting each line, and yeah, I didn't retain any of the knowledge. Now I'm actually retaining more of it. Knowing that these right here are all constants now. And I knew that they were constants before, but I didn't understand what they entailed and what they mean. And, I realized that this is a tuple. Before, I thought this was a list. See, this is how things can get miscombobulated when you're trying to learn too fast, okay? So, if you're just getting started in Python, or any programming language, type it out. Type it out, letter for letter, space for space, however it's supposed to be. That way your mind gets that memory. It remembers it, and after a while, after you constantly do it over and over and over again, you'll remember. And I'm actually starting to retain more knowledge than I did when I first tried this. Okay, when I first got into it, I was gonna, I was into BGE, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. I can build this. I can build that. I can build this. And then they changed it up, and now I have to use more Python code. And it's like, I really need to learn Python. That's something I've got to learn. And so I figured, dive in, eat it up, get it fast. Bam, 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 bam. No. And the problem was that I did not retain the knowledge. So, if you're getting started, type it out. It's better to type it out than it is to try to, copy and paste, okay? Also, on the same note, I use, as you see, the standard, Python IDLE, okay? The only reason why, and a lot of people have, criticized me on it, I use the original I call it idle. I use the original idle in order to basically just write my program and run it. That's the only two things I want to do. I want to write the program and I want it to run. I import all my libraries and I run it. And to me, that's what I'm looking for. And when people are like, but Crazy, why don't you, get PyCharm or this one or Eclipse or whatever, all these different IDLEs. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because it tells you, it gives you hints and it, tells you that you got to mess up here. I'm like, yeah, constantly. Hey, you got to mess up right here, right there. And believe it or not, I don't learn from that. I got to go through the whole code process, run it for the first time, and have it give me that checksum and say, hey, you've got an error right here. It tells you the line it's on. It tells you what it is. And if you're thinking of it and you realize that baddie is not spelled with two B's, then, you messed up. Fix it. If it's constantly pointing it out before you even get to the end of the code, you're not going to understand it as well. This way it teaches you. You learn more because now you've had the struggle of having to go back and check your work. And then you have to read the lines, which also teaches you. So in that regard, that's the reason why I use the standard IDLE. Okay. Also, predetermined text, autocorrect. Okay. When it spells it out for you, you're not. It does help you in a sense. It gives you the information, but if you went to, like, for example, Pygame's website and go into their docs and it tells you for what each one does, if you had that one sitting off in another window and you're going through just using regular idle, then you're going, okay, how do I get this key down? What is key down? You come over to this other one and you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's that one. It helps you out because you're actually taking your attention off of the code that you're actually looking at, going to code that actually works, and then bringing that knowledge back to the code you're working on. If it's just thrown in front of you, your mind automatically writes it off. Okay, it's an automatic thing. You only obtain so much of the knowledge that you read. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so I'm running a little bit behind on that one. So, yeah, one of the fun games. I don't know if I played it. Yeah, I'll play it at any rate. Okay, you get this nice little games called Dodger. You gotta dodge, and then you can slow it down with a cheat code. You can make it go up into reverse in cheat code. Okay, until you die. Okay, and you get to play it over and over again. Sorry if it's loud. Just one of those things. Never turned the volume off of it yet, but that was one of the things that I was wanting to talk about. It was that and how far I've gotten into the book I'm going through. I'm almost at the end. Just got to finish up reading up about what certain things do in this game and how it's worked. So that's it on that part. So let's go on over here to one of the other topics I was talking about, and it's called Blender. Blender, I started years ago, and I loved Blender. It was an artist's dream to be able to make whatever you want and put it up on a screen. That was awesome to me. And I got into the BGE part of Blender, which is the Blender game engine. And after 2.79b, they canceled the BGE. In other words, they took the Blender game engine out of Blender. Right now, they're up to 2.93.1. Last week, I think it was 0.0. But it's a really good program to design stuff, make stuff. You can do movies, you can do animations, you can build your own models, you can build your own game assets, you can build your own game worlds, so on and so forth. It's free, it's open source. If you like to, you like to mess around with stuff, and this is your first time ever on my page, hey, check out Blender. It's not that it's a really awesome way to learn how to make 3D art. Okay. Which brings me to my next point is a BGE. A BGE is the new Blender game engine. Okay. A lot of people are going, yeah, but Blender took out the game engine. Yes, they did. But a BGE right here is ready to go. Okay, these guys work on it daily, and I kid you not when I say daily. Okay, so if you go to downloads, okay, just click on download. You got to scroll down, and hey guys, a BGE, hey you guys, put a little down arrow right here. Okay, people know they got to go down. Okay, all right, so this is their stable release, which is the 2.79b version. It still had the Blender game engine at that time, but this one was based off of that one, and it runs just as fine with it. Okay, I believe they're up to 2.5B, which is, I believe, the last one they're going to do with this one. They want to keep, they want to try to go into the future. They don't want to be stuck behind in 2.79. So, they still work on bug fixes. They're still working on fixing stuff and making things work right in, that release. Okay, it is a stable release. Okay. If you're the type of person that likes the older releases, you're into 0.2.0, for example, which is what the Blender Wars is being built on. They've got all the old ones right here. Okay, all the old ones, boom, right there. Okay, if you're into the 2.93 version, okay, this one is the closest one because they actually use the alpha build, okay, from the experimental build of Blender. Okay, so if I go over here to Blender, okay, and I hit, where's the download there? If I hit downloads on here, they show you, Blender 2.93, and then they got other versions, okay? If you go to other versions, you can come down here and you can get them all like this, okay? But they do have, where is it? I hear previous versions, okay? Now, previous versions is just older builds of Blender, okay? But that's not the one I need. Go back to download. They have an right here. Scroll on down to experimental, okay? And you'll see that when you download the experimental version, it is 2.83. And then there's 2.93. These are the candidates. But what UPBGE uses is this one right here, okay? 3.0.0 alpha. Okay, I think I explained this in my last video, so I'm not going to run too much into it, but that's what the alpha builds are built on. The alpha builds are built on the 2.8 plus version, okay? So it's the new AI, or API, or GUI, or whatever they call it nowadays. You want to, if you're wanting to get into the futuristic part of it and you want to keep up with UPBGE, you're going to have to go into the new ones. And I know it's tough for a lot of people to go from the old version to the new version. Trust me, I know. I feel your pain. I understand. And for the most part, I'm making the switch, and it's a hard switch. And a lot of people miss the, different shortcut keys now. And, a lot of things have changed. But we got to go to the future, guys. Future. You can't build on something that's ancient old and expect today's quality. Okay, you got to go with the times. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. On a short note, the learned experience has become very understandable. I've actually started to understand a lot more than I did. And I appreciate all y'all's support out there. That really helps me a lot. A lot of my friends give me good advice. I'm a great advice taker. I do listen. So my guys on my Discord server want me to change my server up. So I'll put this to you guys and everybody else out there. My server's not big. It's not huge. I am not a big community. I am just basically one guy trying to build a good game, and I'd like to have my friends with me on it and people who are interested in what I'm building. Just on that note, hopefully I can make a nice server that you're comfortable with. If you like, what you see on my server, cool. It's always in the description. And also, whoop, right there. Come check me out. Okay. Other than that, we'll see you next time.